Something I really liked about Initiative was how you incorporated humor into the series, but you could still tell there was kind of like that darker backdrop, so you didn't subtract from it. But was there like a really conscious effort to lighten things up, or did the humor just kind of happen?
If I don't do it, I go crazy. Because no matter who you are, there's going to be humor in your life. There's going to be something funny. No one is sitting around all the time being super depressed and angsty 24/7, with the exception of Matt Murdock. Matt Murdock is such a buzzkill. Oh my God, Matt Murdock. Wouldn't you just hate to be stuck in an elevator with that man? What a horribly depressing son of a bitch. Matt Murdock. Oh, my wife left me. Oh, my wife is dead. Ooh, my wife is in an insane asylum. Ooh, Bullseye killed anyone I ever loved. You know, I'm blind. Ooh. Foggy doesn't like me this week. Ooh. Everything's I'm disbarred. I'm not disbarred, but I have to work on this horrible case. Oh, God. But it's fun to read about him being tortured and stuck with pins. But when you actually think about who do you want to spend time with, you want to, you know, have a Danish with him or with Spider-Man? Come on.
Yeah.
But, like, there's humor everywhere. Like, even in your favorite book, Watchmen. That has what I think is one of the funniest scenes in comics ever. When Night Owl and Silk Spectre talk about Captain Carnage.
Yeah.
Weren't you busting out laughing?
Yes, I was.
Can you think of a darker, more foreboding comic than Watchmen?
Yeah, you're right about that.
And you laughed your head off
Yeah,
when you hit that sequence. But then Rorschach shoved him down an elevator shaft. And yeah, just look at you. It's the funniest damn scene. So it's like, why is there humor in your comic? There's humor in Watchmen. There's humor, you know, everywhere. It's like, I think the funniest scene I've ever seen in a comic, the thing that I laughed the most at, it's not an Ambush Bug, it's not in Giffen Demand Justice League, where the places where you'd think it would be. For me, the funniest scene I've ever read in a comic was at the height of Walt Simonson's Thor. Did you ever read Walt's Thor?
I haven't.
He does this story that builds and builds and builds for like over a year, just maybe even two. It's the thing that eventually becomes the Surtur saga, where this Surtur of Muspelheim, he was going to lay waste to all the 9 worlds, including Earth and Asgard and everything in existence. He is the being that will bring upon Armageddon. And from the very start of Walt Simonson's run on Thor, the first thing you see is this giant demonic figure of him, and he's in the darkness, and he is creating a sword. He's taken molten core of a dying sun and has put it on a giant cosmic anvil, and he is pounding out the metal for the sword. And every time it echoes doom, something terrible happens in our world that Thor has to deal with. And this builds up forever. Doom, doom, story after story, and he eventually forges the sword. And he has the sword Twilight, and he's been building the sword forever, and we're told how epic it is. Just the ringing of this sword has caused horrible shit all over the universe. And now he's got it, and it's finished, and Odin tells you everything's been building to this. And all that Surtur has to do is make it to Asgard and light it on the eternal flame. And the minute he does this, just the act of lighting the sword will destroy everything in existence. And everything becomes a fight to stop Surtur from getting to Asgard. And at one point when Thor is doing something, he summons a giant, storm. But by summoning that storm, he's caused a rainbow. He's caused the bridge to Asgard to open up. And allows Surtur to march onto Asgard. And all the Asgardians have been on Earth fighting all of Surtur's minions, and they've all been like trashed, and armies wasted, and no one is left. And Loki's been in league with Surtur. And Odin's the only one who's ever been able to stop him when he had his brothers alive. So it takes like 3 Odins to beat him. And he's on his way, and you get a sequence where Thor has to go fight him alone because Odin is in the Odin sleep. And it's him versus this guy that his father and his 2 brothers couldn't beat. And he's like knocked on his ass. And he's going to light the sword. And there's Loki like, ha 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 ha. And the last shot of one issue is him lighting the sword. And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, seriously.
You start the next issue, and the sword goes right through the flame. It's an illusion that Loki cast. And he's like, what the? And Loki's like, I'm a mischief maker. Yeah, I sided with you to trick you.
Oh.
I don't want the universe destroyed. If the universe is destroyed, I go with it. And I want to rule the universe. I don't want it destroyed. Are you crazy? And he's like, and he can't find the flame because Loki's done his magic to hide it. So now it's groggy Thor getting up to help Loki, and the two brothers trying to fight off Surtur. And right when Loki's hit and the illusion disappears, now he can see it. That's when Odin wakes up. And now Odin and his two sons are all that stands before it was his brothers, now it's Odin and his two sons. And you cut to this moment where it's Surtur, he's got the sword, all of Asgard's been trashed, all of Earth has been trashed, he's just got to get to this flame, he's hundreds of feet tall, Odin and Loki and Thor are standing, Odin with his two sons beside him, all that bar the way, and you cut to this majestic shot of all of them. And each character only gets to say 2 words. And in those 2 words, they sum up everything about who they are. It goes straight to character. And it's Thor. And he goes, "For Midgard!" And Odin goes, "For Asgard!" And Loki goes, "For myself!" You just read that. And you laugh your ass off. Because what else were they going to say? It's all in character. It's all perfect. And it's the moment of complete and utter drama. And that's it. And that's comedy.
That's perfect.
That's perfect. So it's like, is there humor in everything you write? There's humor in everything everyone writes. Or there should be. In the same way there should be tragedy. Or there should be... I think one of the nicest comments I ever got from some professionals was for Spider-Man Human Torch #3, where we did a whole issue about the Spider-Mobile. And even though we had... the Red Ghost and his commie super apes driving the Spider-Mobile and Spider-Man stopping them with Hostess fruit pies, even though we had like the most ludicrous crap in the world and people going, that's a really funny issue. One of the core things that happens in the issue is that you find out the male bonding that goes on between Spider-Man and the Human Torch, 2 guys working on a car together. That's when Spider-Man opens up and tells the Human Torch, "My girlfriend died. A few issues ago, my girlfriend, Gwen Stacy." It doesn't say Gwen Stacy. Like, I haven't been able to tell anybody. I can't tell my normal secret identity friends, because they don't know I'm Spider-Man. I can't tell you because you don't know who I am under this mask. But I can tell you this much. And they don't understand. They think she's dead and that I had nothing to do with it, and I know she's dead because of me. And that it's the act of working on this car with his best friend is the thing that allows Spider-Man to be funny again. It's because you read those issues from that point in time, from that period in time, and there is no humor in Spider-Man once Gwen Stacy died. There's no humor in that book. It is very sad. It's very depressing. It's angry. And it should be, because that's the journey the character needs to make. And then eventually he starts being funny again, because you want to read about Spider-Man. And doing these hidden stories in Spider-Man Torch, I thought, wow, this is a good chance to show you, how does Spider-Man not get over that grieving period, but how does he get to become Peter again? How does he get to become Spider-Man again? And to do that, one, the bizarreness of bonding over the Spider-Mobile. It's the stupidest thing in Spider-Man history, is the Spider-Mobile. And that beats the Hypno Hustler, that beats the Walrus and the Carpenter, that beats, everything. That mind work. Nothing gets stupider than the Spider-Mobile. I think that's why we like it. But suddenly, I think that kind of makes it cool. That here's we know this is the stupidest thing on earth, but we're having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.